So the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 is out, and I am not going to upgrade. And here's why. Actually, no, I'm going to cover a couple reasons why I'm not going to upgrade. I am I'm starting this out by letting you know I have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. But here's the thing, right? These companies have started to produce products that are they're very close to this holy grail that makes it very difficult for them to make large advancements. Okay, I'm going to use Apple as an example because I think it's the most common. um, there are a lot of people that are not they're choosing not to upgrade their Apple devices. Why? Because Apple made some parts of their device a little too good. It's very difficult to make large advancements on certain things where we have a holy grail metric. So I keep saying holy grail. What do I mean by that? So let's talk about human vision for a second. One of my first jobs coming out of college, I was a visual systems engineer for the United States Navy. So I worked within the industry of military simulation and training. And one of the things I had to study was human vision. I had to study radiometry, photometry, optics. I had to study what would make a pilot look at a display system, and be able to differentiate different objects at different distances and stuff like that. And I learned this measurement when I was there. It is what visual acuity is, right? So when you're looking at something, you know how they say, oh, you could see at 20/20. You have 20/20 vision. That is a measurement of your vision, but what they're really doing is they're trying to see whether or not you can differentiate what's known as an optical line pair. So if you take two lines, two single lines, and you move it far away from you, and eventually your eye cannot differentiate those two lines. It's going to see it as one, and that distance is going to be, how you gauge or how you measure your visual acuity. Now, the holy grail with the human eye, when you're looking at different things, the human eye can't differentiate anything greater smaller than 2 arc minutes per optical line pair. So if you move two lines so far away from you that the angle between the two are 1/30th of a degree, 2 arc minutes, an arc minute is 1/60th of a degree, then the human eye really can't differentiate it. So what we're finding now is these devices, they're starting to produce these resolutions and certain amount of detail where it's very difficult to differentiate between them because the human eye just can't do it. Right? So like an example, like you look at a display on an iPhone, and even if they say, oh my gosh, this is the new panel, your eye can't even see the difference. Your eye can't even see the difference. So that's one restriction, right? And I'm going to lead into my point here in a moment. But the other restriction is this. These devices are recording at 4K, 4K 120, 4K 240, 4K, 8K, 6K, all this stuff. The funny thing is right now in in the platforms where we consume most of these materials, there are restrictions and bottlenecks in our ability to even see that quality. First big bottleneck is going to be internet bandwidth. So when you're watching videos on a mobile device, what your device is doing first is saying, hey, based off of the fact that you're on a mobile network and based off of the amount of bandwidth and speed that you have, I'm only going to present this video to you in 720p on average. And you know what? High quality on this is actually going to be 1080. It's going to be 1080 because it's not going to be worth you streaming 4K data and using up all of your data if you're not really the 4K versus the 1080p isn't changing your experience consuming that material. The reason I'm bringing this up is because with devices like this, DJI has made this so good that there are a ton of people that are like, I don't even think it's worth the upgrade. They're kind of like Apple. They made certain things so good. The MacBook Pro, I had a 2021 MacBook Pro, and I got the 2024 MacBook Pro, the M4. And honestly, based off of what I use it for, I can't tell a big difference. I can't. What? An extra half a second to render a file or to render a video? Like, it's not I can't tell the difference. So these devices, what they're starting to do is they're starting to incorporate different features that may make it a little bit more usable. So on the DJI Osmo Pocket 4, there's these two buttons now where you can automatically zoom and you could use the custom button. I don't zoom and I don't do that with this device. So I wouldn't use those buttons. The custom button, I don't really flip my camera or do anything too fancy. I do talking head videos like this for the most part. So engaging and touching the camera really isn't a thing for me. So the two button things won't really help me. They added a light module that can go onto the actual head here. With the Osmo Pocket 3, you can find that on Amazon for 20 bucks. I bought one. I have one with me. I take it everywhere. I don't use it though, because the light, the low light capabilities on this device is actually pretty good. I mean, they did add internal storage. But am I going to pay hundreds of dollars for a new device when the quality of the videos coming out isn't going to be that much better? I don't see myself doing that. They did add a couple more stops to the dynamic range. So like right now with this video that you're seeing right now, I'm recording on a ZV-E10 Mark II, and I do have the dynamic range optimizer on. So you could kind of see, you know, outside certain things are kind of blown out because the inside of my car relative to the outside light is far more than the number of stops than the dynamic range that this can capture. So you're going to start to see certain things that's blown out. This may be able to recapture some things with regards to like maybe a little bit of detail in the sky or a little bit more detail in, you know, through the back glass. Okay. But to be quite honest with you, the majority of people that are even going to watch my videos, they're paying attention to me. They're not trying to look to see if their friend Sally walked by in the background, right? So I understand that there's certain quality things, but right now, we're battling whether or not we have enough to create and to produce, and whether or not it's even going to modify the experience on the other side of someone consuming the material that we're recording. And the issue right now is that we have reached a point where the answer to that is no. The answer to that is no. So that's one of the reasons. So those are the main reasons why I will not be upgrading to the DJI Osmo Pocket 4. I will say this: I have this tick where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just have to have the latest thing. But I'm starting to get over that, because having the latest thing doesn't matter. I've seen video footage from the iPhone 15. This is the 17. And to be honest with you, I'm finding it very difficult to see the difference, especially consuming material on social media. Is this faster? I don't know, I guess. There's certain, all of the devices that I engage with on a daily basis right now is not that much better than the past device, like that, like last year's version or the year before's version. We are hitting this level of diminishing returns. I remember being in school years ago, and I remember learning about the concept of like the law of diminishing returns. And one of my professors explained it to me in the best way I could have received it at that point. He said, just imagine you are extremely hungry right now. And just imagine the amount of satisfaction you got from that first bite of food. When you're really hungry, that first bite of food, your level of satisfaction is up here. And that return that you get from that first bite is amazing. And then what starts to happen over time, you're going to start to realize that gap, that return that you're getting from every additional bite is starting to get smaller and smaller. By the time you're on the 30th bite or the 40th bite, you're like, okay, I'm still eating, but it wasn't anything close to that first bite. This is the law of diminishing returns. Over a period of time, you're going to realize that the amount of return you're getting from every other iteration of whatever you're consuming is going to be less and less. It's going to diminish. The return is going to diminish. And the same thing is going for the output of these devices. We're starting to see that there's diminishing returns from upgrading and updating these devices. We're not getting a significant upgrade with any of these devices anymore. Everything is very iterative, and a lot of it, again, coming right back to this holy grail concept, a lot of it is because our eyes just can't see a lot of the differences. So if you're in the market for the Osmo Pocket 4, I would, and if you do not have an Osmo Pocket at all, I would encourage you to at least check out the Osmo Pocket 3. Well, first and foremost, let me say this. If you're in America, you really can't even buy. You can't buy the Osmo Pocket 4 anyways. Okay, it's not available in the States. What you can do is go on to, you can go on to Amazon Germany and you can buy it and then have it shipped to one of these like export places. So, because it can be imported, but it's just not supported here in the States yet. Something with regards to the FCC. So you can buy it and it can be imported. It just can't be sold here yet. So you can do that. The Osmo Pocket 4 Pro, I don't even think we're gonna see that in the States anytime soon, even if it's released in the next couple months. But either way, that's my take. That's my take. I have a number of devices. I love recording content, and I love DJI products. I love DJI products. I just, normally I get excited about stuff. Normally I get really excited about stuff, but I'm not excited about this one.